I like this guy. Every time I do the simulator, I always go through. He's always available around, somewhere about 3 or 4th round. And I'm like, you know what? He makes sense to me. We're looking for a running back that can hit their head on the goalpost every chance he has a ball in his hand. You have one in Brashard Tuten. And so I've talked about him. I watched his film. He's really a compacted guy, not very tall, 5'9". I think it's like 205 or something like that. I think he is.
206 was listed at.
206, yeah, 5'9", 206. He's running a 4.32 combine 40-inch vertical, 10-inch broad jump. Dad, God. What? Shoot, you're looking for a home run hitter and running back, a halfback, and you can put him back in and return punts. So he can do it all. I think just because of his size, people are not really looking at him. I think he's really kind of underrated, to be honest, in this running back class. I think he kind of get lost in the sauce because of the talent. But for me, I think he really could transition well into the NFL. When you look at the highlights, man, it is a highlight reel. When you start looking at guys, you're thinking that, 5'9", 205, 206, they're going to bring this guy down. And, man, now I'm telling you, he is running through guys, breaking tackles. And I'm telling you, he looks at the 4.3, he can get up through. Rootin' tootin', daggone tootin'. That's right, G-Pick. And when I say get up through, I mean get up through the line of scrimmage, get up through the secondary, and get up through to the end zone. He could go hit his head on the goal post. I love everything about him, man. I really do. The thing is, you can utilize him in a passing game, screens and whatnot. That's where he's really great, is in the open field. He can make guys miss. Really electric. When we talk about running back prospects, everybody's throwing around all these other numbers from different, Iowa. And look, Virginia Tech didn't really have a whole lot to talk about this past year, but this joker right here, he's definitely one winning. So I like him. I like Brashard Tuten a lot. One big issue with him. What's that, Mike?
I'm gonna guess it's gonna be his fumbleitis. I think that might be the big issue with him.
Yeah, but hey, he'll be fine. He'll be fine. He's one of those guys you can trust the ball in his hand. I think sometimes people look at that and look at some of the fumbles and stuff. I think, understanding that you just got to secure the football. I think he'll be fine. I think he'll be all right.
Is that something for you, JD? Because I know we talked about before, like drops becomes like a mental thing. Is that something you could obviously, maybe need to change the way he holds the football or whatnot? That's such a big issue with him, and that's easily teachable, right? But is that something that becomes, if it happens so much, like drops, does it become like a mental thing? Is that something that coaches could be worried about within that if someone fumbles as much as he was doing?
I think drops are a little bit different than fumbles, to be honest with you. Fumbling is, if you're not just protecting yourself like in traffic, maybe you just have to have that type of awareness. The coaches start working on it. If you hold the ball out a particular way, like you said, if it's something we had to have, 5 points on the football, then we'll teach that. We'll emphasize that. You do certain drills where you just snatch, grab all the time. Matter of fact, when he's in practice, you'll tell the guys on defense, man, hey, anytime he's toting that rock, grab at the football. Try to punch it out, get it out of there. And I know coaches work on that in nauseam. They will make sure, hey, if this is an issue and a problem, we will work on it. Same thing with drops. You start working on it. But as a running back with a guy like this, I'll trust him. You trust him until you can. That's the way I look at it. Now, if it comes out and he starts fumbling and then you got butterfingers, now hold on to the football, hey, man, then shoot, we just got to pull you up out of there. But one thing I like about Tuten is, you're not going to get him in the first round, first, second, third. He's something later on down the road that you can get. So you can get priority as far as the things that you need offensively and defensively before you can get him. And that's what I love about it, because he is available a little bit later, because other people are looking at him like, we want a bigger back, right? We want this guy. But Brashard Tuten to me, man, would fit perfectly in our offense because you could utilize him, put him anywhere, and he could just make guys miss. It'd be perfect with what we do.
Yeah, no, I agree. You know, people want to give Carson Steele a million chances last year and what he fumbled a few times, and he doesn't have the home run ability as a guy like Bhayshul Tuten, right? Steele's going to get you a couple yards here and there. This guy, you put him on the field, the boomer bust factor. Yeah, he can fumble, but also he could also get you 88 out the gate, which we're not getting from other guys who we do have on the squad right now. People give a million chances to. So
let me ask you a quick question. What do you do with a guy that fumbles a football in a game?
Are you talking about what I would do as a coach or just in general?
Yeah, as a coach, what would you do?
Oh, you get back out there, get the ball in his hands.
You're right back out to him. That's right. You're right back out there to him. And Andy Reid did the same thing with Carson Steele. Guess what, Carson? Come right back out there. We're going to trust you again. And that's big. You know, for a young guy like this to have a trust from a coach of that caliber and Andy Reid, shoot, that'd be perfect. That'd be absolutely perfect for him. So,
yeah. Tej,
what do you think, Tej?
I like Tuten. I think if we go Tuten, like I said, I think I said the last week before, we'll learn a lot about what our vision is for running back based on who we draft. If we get Tuten, then we're going to use Pacheco and Hunt to just mash and maul their way between the tackles. And then Tuten's going to be our zone runner. He didn't take a carry from under center.
Yeah.
And in the man gap schemes, he tends to run into his blockers a lot. So he's been pretty much a zone only guy in college.
Oh, yeah. Right.
So, and we run hybrid. We run a lot of a man gap and we run zones. So, there's a place for him to get 8 to 12 touches a game, a lot like a Gibbs, right? I mean, I know that's the catch-all now. Everyone always compares everyone to the Gibbs. Now everyone's going to be Gibbs. Everyone's getting their Gibbs for their offense. But that is that's the high end of it all. But
yeah,
that's what you're going for, right? You got your man, you got your gap runner, and then you got your zone runner. And that's exactly what he would be. And what's interesting about him is he's not only extremely fast, he's really good. I mean, he had an 83 grade in outside zone runs, and he forced a missed tackle on half of his zone runs, like half of them. Wow. In general, in 2023, 0.39 missed tackle rate. So 40% of his runs, he had a missed tackle. So he's just really good at getting out of tackles, and that's not very common of someone who's kind of small and dainty, like a speed rusher. Those guys are usually just waifs who get nails, right?
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, and I think you can afford – I'm more comfortable drafting a guy like that a little later, who's not going to be our main guy, right?
Right.
And who's going to be a specialty, get him out in space, zone run, zone read guy. I prefer that to be in a fourth or fifth round capacity than some people that want, for instance, like Travion Henderson, they want the second round to pretty much be the same thing for us. Like Henderson's not going to be your 20 carry a game guy. Just because you drafted him 3 rounds higher doesn't make it true. He's still going to be relegated to 8 to 12 touches a game. So will Henderson get those touches earlier in his career because he's less of like a project? Sure. But I'll take the 3-round discount and get Tuten in the 5th. I'd rather have that, to be honest with you.
Yeah, because he's not going to be a main piece. That's the thing about it. He's running back.
Exactly.
You're not changing. Chiefs are not changing up their offense to get a back in here to run the ball 25 times. They're just not. It's not going to happen. And he's not. Look, that's not his MO. I know you talked about running the football more, but he's just like, hey, man, we're going to air it out. We got wide receivers who can go out and go get it. That's what we're going to do. We're going to throw the ball down the field with a guy with the talented arm. We're going to make sure he's going to get paid his due. So,
now, if I saw him draft like a Judkins or a Caleb Johnson, I would think that that's the opposite side of what we were saying a minute ago. They do have some kind of vision for having a guy be our 3-down guy. Maybe not this year because we have like 8 running backs, but going forward, a guy who's going to be one guy who will be our 16 to 22 touch a game guy. as opposed to like Tuten, who's going to be filling in that role, and then someone else fills in that role, right? I just feel like that's better for us anyway.
Oh, yeah.
But we'll see. I don't want to upset Marcus because I know he's a big.
Well, Junkins, a guy like Junkins or Caleb Johnson, those are guys that can do it all, right? Like you don't need to have. I mean, Junkins can catch the ball. Junkins can run between the tackles.
Sure.
I mean, so like that, yeah. And that, again, though, that's where you're drafting a guy like in rounds 2 to 3, and this is a potential day 3 guy. So I mean, pick your poison. I guess we're gonna see what's on the board at each time, right? So if Junkins is there and they pass on him, then we are looking for day 3 like that. And I think Veach did say in his press conference last week that he loves the running backs rounds 1 through 5. He kept saying rounds 1 through 5. So, I mean, I guess that really just tells you what window he's gonna be going through, right? And so rounds 1 through 5. So if we don't draft him with the rounds 1 through 5, then he was just bullshitting the entire time, I guess.
Yeah.
Speed kills. That's right, Neff. Speed kills. That 4.32 right there, boy. I mean, that's. I mean, I'm talking about hit the head on the goalpost. He was slow. That was the thing about every time he would just run away from the defense. I mean, he literally would slow down for guys who were running full speed to try to catch him. And he let off the gas because he was just that much faster than everybody else. It was just he's in the wind. You ain't catching him. You're just not. You're just not gonna catch him. So
I believe Tuten was. I've been watching a lot of Chris Sims scouting breakdowns. Who's very good. I think he has Tuten 4 or 5 overall.
Really?
Yeah, he's got him really high. He's got him really high on his list.
Yeah, he's a good prospect, man. I like it a lot. We
were talking about running backs that have some juice, have some speed. Obviously, you guys know I'm Kid Judy's my guy, but we got to look at other guys too, because there's a chance we won't get him.
That's good of you to say that.
Yeah. Like I already said, I will rationalize and spin it all day till Sunday. If whoever we draft a running back, I'm going to love that guy. I'm going to be his biggest fan. But Brashard Smith from SMU projects as a day 3 guy. So this is if we don't go for any of the big name guys that we've been talking about in the show. This is a guy day 3. This is kind of like the Tuten kind of pick. Honestly, yeah, very, very similar to Tuten in a lot of ways. It's fast as heck. So Brashard Smith boasts a legit 4.3 speed 40 with the open field ability to tear apart second level pursuit angles. This is what I do. I kind of like this. So he's a former wide receiver who just recently converted to playing running back. So if you look at his numbers there, that's why he didn't really get many carries and totes. It's because he was a receiver before that. So he is a former receiver playing running back, and the first year being the guy's running back. That's what he did at SMU. Very similar to Tyrone Tracy with the Giants, who tore it up last year when he was given the main role. He was a wide receiver at Purdue, and then he converted to running back his last year there at with the Giants. So with Purdue, and then he came in the NFL and dominated. Brashard Smith is way faster than him, but we saw a receiver successfully go from receiver to running back and dominated. So there's that as far as if you want to look to a running back to receiver kind of thing. But a little background about him. So true freshman in 2021, Smith caught a handful of passes while playing sparingly across 12 games for the Miami Hurricanes. By 2022, he was a bit more involved in the offense, played 11 games with 33 receptions in addition to his kick return duty, so he can play a little bit of special teams. So going back to Brett Veach, talking about a guy who can give us some juice on offense and give us some versatility as being a return man. He is that. He was second team All ACC as a kick returner in 2023, posting 20 returns for 579 yards. That's 29 yards per return and 1 touchdown. And after the 2023 season, he then transferred to SMU, where then he became a running back. Smith landed with SMU and transitioned to a running back, where he had nearly 2,000 all-purpose yards and totaled 18 touchdowns to finish his college career. So a guy who, successfully made the transition from wide receiver to running back. Gotta love that. Obviously, speed demon. We know that. He's a great pass catcher, obviously a receiver, but this is where the kind of negatives come in. He's still raw with the position. I mean, the guy's not going to, he picked up the position. He's an athlete, but, there's still certain things, he doesn't hit the hole hard. He tries to kind of wait to things for develop in order to kind of getting out there. So things, he's learning still the position. That's why he's a day 3 guy. But great pass catcher, however, needs work on his pass pro. Doesn't take aggressive angles to close down angles on free runners, and he lacks the blocking posture, hand striking, or anchor to consistently hold his gaps. More often than not, this is the one thing that is good about him as a pass protector. He'll throw his shoulder. He's not, it's not like a guy who doesn't know how to block out there. He's a receiver playing, as a third down back, right? But more often than not, he'll throw his shoulder pad into a defender, uncovering a gap, or try to cut low, even when he'd be better served to stick his face in and simply take the block head on. That's something he's still learning at the position. So just overall positives about this guy. Electric open field speed with second gear that allows him to hit home runs consistently. We want that. Pass catching ability, upper echelon, probably one of the best pass catchers of the running backs in this class. But obviously, he was a receiver. Special teams ability, negatives, vision, and anticipation. Pressing the line of scrimmage is almost ground level. Lacks size and mass. And his pass pro is rough as far as a blocker. So that is what we got here with our positives and negatives with Brashard Smith from SMU. Teja, what do you think about Brashard Smith, my man?
Big fan. He's another one of those guys that if you're looking for the 1B in your offense for the zone runs, the drop-offs, the swing passes, the get him in space, Brashard Smith's that guy. Brashard Smith, Tuten, Jaden Blue, RJ Harvey, I think is a little higher than those guys, but that's what you're looking for. I mean, none of those guys, even along with Travion Henderson, are not big-time touch weapons. They're just so I was watching the Chris Sims. I was talking about that earlier. He had Chris Johnson on. Chris Johnson does a lot of college scouting. This is one of his favorite running backs in the draft. He said, I mean, in between tackles, outside tackles, he catches out of the backfield. You could split him out wide. So this is someone, obviously he's not your bell cow, but he's someone you throw a couple swing passes to, drop a couple interesting plays for him, have him be your return man. I mean, he could play right away. He's a project, but you play him right away in short spurts. You have him be your return man. You get him some plays, get him out in space. Only 250 carries in his college career, so he's fresh, man. You got him fresh for the next 4 years. Like, he's light. Closer to a project, but not a big cutter or dancer, just crazy speed, crazy straight line speed. Sims's comp was Tony Pollard for him.
That's good.
Okay.
Not as much dancing, but just like cut and go.
Yeah, that's all right. That's a good comp for him, because that is how he kind of reminds me. He doesn't have that a lot of the make you miss in a phone booth, but his straightaway speed is what he absolutely does have, and he can absolutely fly. That's one thing for sure. He gets up in that secondary, he is gone. So, the highlights that I've seen of him, I mean, I liked every bit of it. Like you said, the only thing is a little bit of project. He's a little raw. He didn't have the natural ability of seeing the runs. And I think a lot of it goes into anticipation of where, the blocking scheme is going to be. And like you said, Marcus, part of it, I think, is just being a wide receiver. This is not his natural position. And so, playing back there, man, is a little bit different, especially when against the defenses what they're going to be doing some more complex stuff up front. But he'd work, especially too, maybe a little zone, one cut and go. That's it.
Yep.
That's what you've been looking for a guy like him. But he's another one of those, like you said, small backs that do a pretty decent job. I like him. The reason I like Tuten a little bit more is because he does have that vision. He does have the cuts. He, break tackles a whole lot. But I do like Brashard Smith. I think he's a good back. He's another one of those home run hitter. How you going to utilize him in our offense is really the question over it, right?
Yep. So
that's the thing about it, man. You'll give him a couple of carries, see how he's going to do. Can he get business?
They're not so much running backs as they are weapons.
Yeah, that's it. Right.
He's a weapon.
Yeah.
You just bring him in. You have design plays for him. You get him out in space, throw a little swing pass his way, see what he can do with it. That's it. There's a few guys like that. I think we can take a shot on it in that, 4th, 5th range.
And I gotta say, just the receiver, and I mentioned Tyrone Tracy, but I mean, looking at Tyrone Tracy, the 1 year that he was the running back when he went from Iowa to Purdue, when he became his full-time guy, I mean, his numbers don't even touch what Brashard Smith did as a running back, going from receiver to running back. And Tyron Tracy was a successful running back last year, almost 1,000 yards, and they didn't start till like week 4 last year as the main guy in New York. So I mean, like that whole Tracy conversion thing kind of gives us hope to that Brashard Smith could be a guy in the league.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out the best clips from Chief Concerns. And if you prefer to listen to the show, subscribe and follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and anywhere else you get your podcasts.